welcome to Pilates for Wellness. So this class is going to be based a lot in the breathing technique that we do in Pilates, which is a lateral breathing or breathing in the rib cage. And with this intentional breathing, this breathwork based practice comes with a lot of benefits. So when you really focus on the breath, it helps reduce the stress response to external factors in your life. It can help reduce your blood pressure, and it can help influence the heart rate, which is pretty wild. So as you can see, there's a lot of benefits to working with the breath. So that is going to be the theme of today's class for this well-being focused workout. You're definitely going to still feel all the muscles, but it's going to be a little bit slower and let you to go more inwards rather than how we focus a lot physically all the time when we work out. That's going to bring it more internally. So let's just start in a comfortable seat. We're going to learn the breath technique and then we'll apply it throughout the Pilates practice. So posterior lateral breathing is breath-based breathing that's around the rib cage and in the chest. So in Pilates, we're working the core, right? So we're trying to keep the belly connected and tight rather than in yoga where we puff the belly up and down. So one's not right or better than the other. This is just a different technique. So first, just start by connecting with your pelvic floor and your low abs. So what you're gonna do is think of pulling upwards, like you gotta go to the bathroom, you're holding it in, and you're lifting the navel up. So you've got a bikini on or a bathing suit, and you're holding your stomach muscles in. So this lower region is braced. So it's still, it's stable the whole time as we breathe. This region, rib cage and up, is going to move. You can literally feel the body move as we breathe. Okay, so let's start by keeping the lower abs and the pelvic floor connected. We're gonna breathe and think of breathing out, forwards and back. So it's a dynamic breath. Like you're breathing into a cylinder shape. So it's hitting every part of that circle. Draw a circle or a ring around your waist, like you've got a hula hoop around your ribs, and think of your torso trying to touch all parts of that hula hoop. So I'm gonna breathe in and breathe out. Now when you inhale, the ribs will expand, and when you exhale, they'll narrow. If you're having a hard time connecting with it, my advice is to put your hands on your body. Breathe into the hands as you breathe in through the nose. And let's exhale through the mouth and just gently slide your fingertips back together as to close the rib cage manually. Inhale, glide the fingers apart, allow the ribs to expand into your palms. And then exhale, glide the fingers together and feel a narrowing of the frontal ribs. One more. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, so we're going to take this laying flat down in a bridge position. So lay down on your back. You're going to bend your knees and plant your feet, hips distance parallel, palms face down. And let's start to get really active without it even being obvious. So it's active internally using isometric actions. Gently press the back of the skull into the floor. So you can just feel the back of the neck muscles turn on and lift away from the mat. Spread the collarbone so the fronts of the shoulders widen. And then firm your triceps in your palms. Press them into the floor. So pressing the hands firmly down may even lift the back of the arm or the elbow up. Draw the rib cage to the mat and the tailbone to the mat, so there's a little gap between those 2 points. And then we're going to work those legs. Push your feet down, the whole foot, and drag it to you, like you're trying to squeeze something between the back of your knee. Okay, let's hold on to these actions. So you're working here, and we're going to work the breath. Inhale into the nose. You can feel the back ribs widen against the mat. Exhale through the mouth. You can feel the front ribs narrow and the front of the body. Inhale, back ribs spread against the ground. Exhale, front ribs close in the front of the body. 2 more. Breathe into the back. Exhale through the mouth, closing the front ribs. So working this rib cage breathing allows for mobility of the rib cage. Last one. Inhale, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Okay, hold the cinching of the waist, press into the back of the arms, the back of the head and the feet, and lift your hips up without changing the shape of your back. And then lower your hips back down. So you're going to exhale to close the ribs as you lift. Inhale as the hips lower, feel the back ribs spread against the mat. Exhale, the rib cage contracts to help stabilize the spine and the shoulder girdle. Inhale, the back ribs expand into the floor to create space in the upper back. Okay, let's do 2 more. Exhale, the ribs draw in to hold the spine in place, working stability. Inhale, the ribs expand, creating space internally. Last one. Breathe out, gather the rib cage. Breathe in, lower the hips. Placing the hips down, bring your hands behind your head and interlace your fingers, cradle your head. And I'm really wrapping my hands, make a little pillow. Then rest your head in your hands and lift your elbows just about 1 inch off the floor and sink the rib cage. Starting in a neutral spine, we'll move into our pelvic curl. The entire time, your ribs are going to stay down. So we're not going to pop them up or let them leave the mat. So it's not going to be super high in the hips. So taking an inhale into the front ribs without your back ribs leaving the mat. Exhale, the front ribs press down, tuck your tailbone, and then start to roll up 1 inch at a time. And you're only going into a small lift so that the rib cage stays on the floor. Hold here in this deep C curve and pull your rib cage deeper into the floor. Then start to roll back down bone by bone. Okay, we're gonna flow with that. Inhale at the bottom, the front ribs open. Exhale, pull the front ribs in, and we roll up just a minimal amount. At the top, pause, pull the frontal ribs in deeper, and see if you can scoop the pelvis more. Really stretching that low back out. And then inch by inch, roll it back down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Using the abs to roll us up. Pause. Front ribs down. C curve through the low back. And then roll back to the mat. Let's do 2 more. Now, if you've never tried doing these pelvic curls so small, meaning like a really small range of motion, it might be kind of eye-opening. You might feel a lot more stretch in the lower back by working this deep C curve and containing the ribs. Last one. Exhale to roll up. Hold that exhale. Pull the rib cage in deeper and reach your low back towards your knees. Then roll down and really try to keep the scoop until the final moment. And then the hips release to the floor. Amazing. Okay, take the hands by your sides and hold on to your mat. So you're gonna pull the mat down. This is gonna work this lat area and help us connect to our ribs. So before we even lift our legs, hold the sides of the mat, pull down. Pull your ribs into the floor, and also now we'll pull that low back to the ground. So we're in an imprinted spine. Keeping your ribs connected, reach your left leg out to 45 degrees. And then place the left foot down. We're gonna alternate. Right leg out to 45 degrees. And place the right foot down. Now if you feel no lift of the back ribs, you can extend the leg a little lower, challenging yourself. Exhale as you go out. Inhale as you set the leg on the floor. Breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. Good, as if someone's foot is standing on the front of your ribs and pressing them into the floor. That's how hard you're working to keep them on the ground. Last one. Good, now let's bring the right foot to a 1-inch hover and reach the left leg out and then tap it to the floor. Now, maybe you have to go a little higher that we've added that 1-inch hover of that right leg. Inhale, tap. Exhale, pull the ribs to the mat. One more. Inhale, tap. Exhale, pull the ribs to the mat. Good, now hover the left foot just 1 inch. Imprint the spine. Exhale, extend the right leg. Inhale, tap the floor. Okay, keep pulling against the yoga mat to help the shoulders slide down, the lats slide down, and the ribs press into the ground. 2 more. Last one. Okay, both feet down. This time we'll go both legs out. So pulling against the mat, ribs connect. We go out on the exhale, and then inhale to tap. Thinking about everything we've talked about with the ribs. 3 more, maybe you try to go a little lower, if and only if you can keep that back anchored. And not just anchored, like really feel the pressure of your back ribs. Okay, last one. And we take it down. Were you shaking? I was totally shaking. Okay, so we're gonna take this to a kneeling squat. So if you need to roll your mat up more for your knees, you'll do that. And this is, again, it's mainly that focus of the rib cage area. This is gonna give us a little bit extension of the shoulder and upper back work. So we're gonna go, I'll show you from the side and then maybe from the back. So kneeling, knees, hips distance parallel. The breathing is going to be exhaling as the arms lift and the hips hinge back. When you hinge your hips back, you're going to lean forward so that the back of the head and the tailbone line up. Now your tailbone is reaching back, your rib cage is pulling in. That's why we're gonna use the exhale when we hinge. Inhale, we come back up. Okay, palms in, the arms reach overhead with the palms in and the elbows pointing forward. We pull the tailbone back towards the heels as we reach the arms overhead. Take a big exhale and pull the rib cage into the body. And then inhale, we come back up. Good work. Breathe out. Tuck the tailbone, pull the front ribs to the back, reach through the arms. And inhale, we come back up. With each rep, I want you to try to move those arms further back, past the sides of the head, so we get into the lats and the shoulder mobility and flexibility. When those arms lift, the shoulders do not lift, yeah? So your lats are pulling down to the low back to keep the upper traps off the neck. See if you can pause in the hinge and work those actions. Breathe out. Lift, lift, lift those arms. Pull the front ribs down. Gaze forward, straighten your arms more, pull them back. and lower the arms. Okay, one more. We're gonna try to hold. So reach the sits bones back, navel pulls in, pelvic floor is lifted, arms sweep overhead. Bring the arms more narrow, move them further back, and then pull the rib cage in. Good. Lift your sternum forward slightly without the ribs splaying. Move the arms back a little more and soften the shoulders. Move the arms back more, and inhale, come up. It's hard work getting those arms up. Good work, guys. Okay, so we've got 2, maybe 3 more moves we're going for. So let's kneel, face each other. You're doing great. And still, exhaling, we're gonna focus on those ribs coming together. Inhale, the ribs expand. So bring your hands behind your head. Bring your elbows slightly forward so you can feel the muscles in your back move apart and relax down. Okay, so we're stabilizing from the low belly. As you exhale, twist your head and your chest to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist, head and chest left. Inhale, center. What I'm trying to keep is this line straight down the center, even when I'm in the twist. So notice if your head is doing more of the movement. Okay, let the torso, the upper back, be the leader, and the head follows. And it doesn't pass the leader. Breathe out. Breathe in. So talking about the ribs. Exhale, the ribs close to twist. Inhale, the ribs expand, get taller. Breathe out. Breathe in. Okay, last one. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, release. Very nice. Just kind of detoxifying the body with those twists. Okay, we're going to look at a push-up in a modified position because we're going to be doing some holds at the bottom. Our work is going to be this. So here's our push-up. I'm going to really work these shoulders off the chest and the lats down. Okay, so once you come into the push-up, we're going to be working to not round the chest at all. So let's go for it. So I can do a push-up too, even if you can. Try it on your knees for the first one. Really see if you have the strength. Okay, so we're on the knees. We're going to walk the knees back, and we're going to shift the pelvis forward and scoop the belly in and up. So from the back of the knees to the back of my head, I make one line, a diagonal line, but a line. Okay, so pull the shoulders off the back and wrap your triceps towards your knees. So we're coming down into the push-up. You're going to pause here. Now see if you can widen your collarbone and pull the rib cage in. And then exhale, back up. Okay, so inhale is going to take you down. Pause. Pull the fronts of the shoulders off the back. Hug the elbows in and then lift the frontal ribs. And press up. You got it? Good work. Okay, so I want you to imagine with your hands on the ground as if you're trying to spin the hand out to the side. Like you're suction cupping the mat with the hand. The hand's not actually going to move. That action, that kind of spinning action, left hand trying to spin left, right hand trying to spin right, is going to help with this external rotation of your upper arm. So let's inhale, go down, pause. Pull the shoulders down the back. And exhale, press up. So it's a lot harder to do this with good form. Okay, breathe in, we take it down. Pull the frontal ribs to the back. And exhale, press up. One more. Breathe in. Lengthen the spine. Breathe out. Lift the frontal ribs to the back, but keep the collarbone and the sternum wide. And exhale, press up. Good work. Okay, so we're going to finish with a little extension. Now, we are in an extended position, yet we're still going to keep the ribs connected. So a lot of times what I see once people lay on their stomach is there's not really a lot of connection, mind-body connection to the deep core muscles, right? So I'm laying here right now, my belly is resting on the floor, my ribs are open. but I'm relaxing. But once we go into the exercise, we're gonna focus deeply internally on those ribs staying connected and the belly lifting. So before you even lift up, lay down with your head against the floor and your legs long behind you, toes point to the ground. Now what I want you to do is tuck, or you can even put your thumb on your low back, push your low back towards the back of the room, and then release it. So maybe do that a couple times and just get that feeling of the low back moving away from the mid back. Okay, so this action you're going to have to hold with your strength. So what you do is you push the low back to the back of the room and you press the pubic bone to the floor. This is going to help lengthen this low back curve. Also, it will help us lift our belly. Maybe you're able to get the belly off the mat. Maybe not. If not, no big deal. Okay, so we've got the belly button tunnel and then the rib cage coming together. And see if you can just find those 2 points. Ribs together, pubic bone back, belly up. Okay, so what we're gonna do, just gonna move the mic up so I don't crush you. What we're gonna do is try to keep that in our extension. Okay, so we have a long low back, belly in, ribs together. Now I'm only gonna lift up a couple inches to where I can still maintain that little gap. So see, it's really, really small. And then take it back down. So we're gonna switch the breathing that I would normally do for this one. So it's gonna be exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Arms reach back, ribs are together. Exhale, lift, keep the rib cage connected. Keep the belly up. Inhale, lower, release. Exhale, belly up, rib cage connected, lift. Inhale, release. So it's a very contained back bend. We're using a lot of the deep strength. Breathe out to lift. Breathe in to lower. Good, navel in, frontal ribs move to the back. Good, let's do 3 more. Last 2. Soften where you can, final 1. Last 1. Good, and then just press yourself on back and take a child's pose. And you can let the ribs just relax. They did a lot of work. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and let the breath move a little deeper into the body now. So just relax the rib cage. Good, and then roll yourself up to a seat. You guys did amazing. So just wanted to check in with you. Please let me know how that was for you in the comments. So just bringing this element of breath that is a principle of Pilates, but bringing it really to the forefront. I know a lot of times when people start their Pilates journey, breathing is kind of new. I know when I used to work out, I'd hold my breath and get really red. But now as a Pilates instructor, it's really natural for me and a yoga instructor to just breathe. Maybe it's not for you. So I think, and maybe this was hard. Maybe it was just like kind of challenging, like focusing on the breath. If it's hard, then this is definitely a great class for you to repeat. And remember, practice is progress. So the more you do it, the more natural it will start to feel in your body. And so besides, exercise benefits of breathing, the muscles literally need oxygen. So if you hold your breath, that's why I was turning red, right? The body needed the nutrients from the oxygen to supply it with energy. So that's obviously a big benefit, but also just like stress reduction, heart rate, well, that goes with anxiety, right? I know that if I get anxiety, my heart rate, blood pressure can go up. So it's stress reduction. So that can go hand in hand. So you can think of your workout, you're getting physical, mental, emotional benefits all wrapped up into one. So that was my thought for this class. Please let me know how it went for you in the comments, and I hope you have a fabulous day, and do not forget to subscribe to Pilates On Demand. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.